And welcome back. The Emotional Institute is an online resource and educational center that actually offers courses, workshops, and interactive experiences, providing pathways to cultivate emotional well-being. It's also gaining insight into bringing about a balanced mind and body connection. The Emotional Institute recently announced its 400 Years program, which is a 4-month online program to unlearn racism as well as through the I should say, unlearn racism through the body, as well as storytelling, and then also deep listening. Joining us now to share a little bit more about this whole experience is the founder of the Emotional Institute and the founder of the Grief Ritual, Bernadette Pleasant. And Bernadette, good to have you here on Open.
Thank you. It's a great day to be here with you, Daren. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And so we talk about 400 years. Where's the concept 400 years come from?
400 years, 401 years, but I named it 400. Um, the concept came from me having one too many conversations with people who were freaked out. They just didn't know what to do. Their eyes were just brand new to being open. These conversations were with well-intended white people who were looking for something to do, something to learn, because they were shocked that they didn't know something. And I think their hearts were in the right place, but they were just like, okay, what can I do? And I thought, well, first of all, what you can't do is leave your body out of this because you're in shock. So I need you of good use. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a different approach to this unlearning racism. I see a lot of racism course, anti-racism course going on, and I think they're brilliant. They're brilliant work. But it's feeding the mind and leaving this shocked body that doesn't know what to do out of it. And so I had lived long enough to see a rubber band effect. My eyes are open and I close my eyes because it's too uncomfortable. So I don't know what to do. And I just thought, for my grandson's skin, I need to do something, create something that takes care of that body so that they can be in there for the long haul. And that's how this was born.
And so you created the Emotional Institute. And so for people who don't know exactly what the Emotional Institute is, walk us through a little bit about that.
Okay, so the Emotional Institute is my brand. That is the parent, if you will. I look at the Emotional Institute as a college. So while there are various studies at the college, areas of study, we do work on grief, we do work on anti-racism, integrating the body and the body's wisdom in this. All of that is under the umbrella of the Emotional Institute. So that is the parent, if you will, or the house. In this emotional house, we're all about emotional well-being and learning areas where we can show up and learn about the how the body moves in full-on emotion. It was created as my need to be emotionally expressed, and just the narrow margin of acceptable expression range. It wasn't working. It hasn't worked. And so what I wanted to do is create a container where people can come and learn and do better and be better, because they're not contorting themselves and being less of who they are in any one area, be that anger or grief or joy or confidence, being full on and expressed.
Right. And so you got a thing called the Femme Program.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the Femme Program?
Femme is so Femme is a 90-minute experience that is set to live drums. I'm a big fan of live African drums because I feel like nothing like those drums can unleash what's in here, and actually that can handle all of this that I bring. So what I desire is for more people to feel more expressed. So if we are feeling an emotion, we get to express the full range of that, and to do it and under the guise of movement and dance, so that our bodies are engaged, which is always engaged when there's emotions, and how to have the full expression of whatever that emotion is, because the drums play to that. So if you can imagine going on what's called the emotional tour, which is housed in that 90-minute experience, we actually we exercise the muscle of emotion by um, playing in the arena. We go from joy to grief to anger to lust, confidence, and flirt. We play in these arenas, areas where there's been a lot of shame built around these emotions, but we're moving them and giving sound to them during a femme experience. And I call it femme because it's an opportunity to rebirth what's possible emotionally. And the birthing happens through the femme.
Yeah. And so when we talk about grief, right? Grief is
Mm.
something that we're seeing a lot of in COVID-19, the social unrest. We could look at, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and see there's a lot of grief that's associated right now. And you do some work in the area of grief as well.
Yes, I do. Grief rituals are something that I have appreciated and worked with for many years. I If we leave the grieving body out, which is very uncomfortable emotion well, no one wants to have it, first of all. And modeled, I have not seen ways that in a healthy way I can have my grief, express my grief without putting on, I'm fine, or medicating it, or just hiding it away, but to just be with it, particularly around those, and there are far too many to name, sadly, but George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, these things are not going away, because I don't believe we get over things. I believe we get through them, and we are going through that. We are we can't get those images and those stories out of our mind, nor should we, because in order to get to a better place, we have to feel what that's like. What did that do to me? What did that do to you, and others who experience that? And then how can we deal with how that felt in our bodies first, and then go about the work of change? So grief rituals are really just about making space, gentle space, where grieving can happen. I am influenced greatly by the work of Subamfu Somé. Subamfu, uh, from West Africa, came with this notion that here in the States, there was no way to deal with grief. Back in Burkina Faso, where she was from, there was a grief ritual going on all the time. And she wanted that work to be continued. And I look forward to a time post COVID when we're able to gather together the way that ritual is meant to be done. But I have adapted a ritual that makes it possible over Zoom, where we literally create a container. A woman named Sarah Nix and I create these containers where people literally get to come and just be in their grief. No fixing, just allowing.
That's awesome. Well, we got to leave it there, but I want to give an opportunity for people who want to connect with you. Please tell them how they can connect with you really briefly.
Okay. The Emotional Institute is our website. So theemotionalinstitute.com is the best way. Following on social media, The Emotional Institute, or Live Femme. That's LIVEFEMME. And I am Bernadette Pleasant. They can find me anywhere
All
on
right.
all those devices.
Well, Bernadette, thank you so much for sharing much about grief and the Emotional Institute. A lot learned today. Thank you. And we look forward to connecting with you in the future. Bernadette,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. And we want you to stay with us. Guess what? We've got more open coming up. We'll be right back right after this.